pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item number 2 on the agenda is approval of the previous meeting minutes. Did anyone have any additions or comments to the meeting minutes that are being presented today, which are from the August 12th, 2025 meeting? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to public participation. We've had no one sign up today for public participation. Oh. Then you'll have to wait till next meeting, sorry. Okay, item 4, items for discussion. Item 4.1, disposal report.
Yes, the disposal report for September 1st of 25 includes IT equipment, custodial equipment, radios, and some obsolete furniture. Nothing out of the ordinary.
Okay, anyone have any questions or comments on that? Item 4.2, treasurer's report.
Good afternoon. This is exciting. I'm able to report out on the first month of the new fiscal year, so here we go. July 2025 unaudited treasurer and financial report. District had about $210 million of cash on hand ending July. We had about 2.63% of our budgeted revenue come in, a little lower than we've seen in the past. And that's primarily because most of our tax dollars came in during the month of June. So a heavy amount there versus July. However, we are seeing our tax disbursements currently coming in September as well. We have a Kane County collection tomorrow of about $77 million. So we're eagerly waiting to see that. As we go through the report, you will see our operating fund revenue at 2.58%, and then our operating fund expenditures at 3.54%, and that's slightly higher than where we were at last year, and that's primarily because the non-capitalized equipment is at 21.82%, and that's because we paid our Chromebook lease in July versus August. So that's why that expenditure looks a little high. Couple notes at the bottom of the page. I just want to call out that our interest for the month is just shy of $500,000, so not too bad. The bond payment expensed in June posted to July. So if you look at the expenditure for bond and interest at 14.67%, that should be reflected back in June, and it'll be one of our audit adjustments during our auditing process. So that will get cleaned up. Bond payments are made late in the month, and sometimes they post into the next month. So that'll get taken care of. Let's see here. As the budget has not yet been adopted, the budget is only tentative at this time. And all the numbers, I can't stress more, especially going into audit season, these are not audited financials. Does anybody have any questions?
No, thank you very much. Item 4.3, donation report.
Okay, I love reporting on donations. It's great. The Home Depot has donated the following items to Lake in the Hills Elementary School. It's a gift card of $3,500, but it's to be used towards purchasing various furniture items for the school's conference room, staff lounge, and copy space area. They're also purchasing paint and paint supplies. They have various rooms within the building that will be painted with those dollars as well. So thank you, Home Depot. Second donation is from a community member who donated books. And Dr. Smith, please correct me if I'm wrong, these were books for our principals. titled The Anxious Generation, with an approximate value of $500 to $788. Any questions?
Oh, thank you. It's always exciting to have donations from our community.
Absolutely.
Item 4.4, nurse and athletic supplies bid extension.
Yes, this recommendation is for a second extension for the bidding for athletic supplies and nurse supplies. This contract is for a one-year term from September 1st of '25 through August 31st of '26. The estimated total of the contract is around $70,541.60. It had an average price increase of 1.59, which is allowable under the 3.4 CPI rate. Any questions?
Have any? Anyone else? Steve? Oh, all right, thank you very much. Yeah, you were. I thought you had one. Item 4.5, Parkview Edition bid.
Yes, we are very excited to bring this to the ops meeting tonight. On April 22nd of 2025, the Board of Education approved the schematic design phase of the Parkview addition and remodel. This consists of a 16,000 square foot addition with 8 classrooms, a new media center, new main office suite, and a new main entrance. The renovations on the inside will also consist of new fire protection system, new intercom and clocks, and then also a new HVAC system for the entire building. So we're looking at completely remaking Parkview Elementary School. On top of that, the addition will connect to the east and the west hallways to create a new state-of-the-art courtyard, which we are super excited about. That'll be able to be used by the students and staff and the community. We are looking tonight in August this month, last month, I'm sorry, bids were released based on the approved designs. Construction on the new addition is scheduled to begin in early October on the new addition, and then that'll continue throughout the school year, and then the renovations will start like we do every year. The last day of school will be emptying out the building, and they'll be gutting away and then redoing that part of the older part of the building. With all of that said, we are looking to be on track to be open completely on July 31st to be completed with the new addition and the renovations for next school year, for the start of 2026 school year. So the administration recommends that the bids for Parkview Elementary's addition and renovation be approved at the cost of $16,011,015. That would all come out of Fund 60 capital improvement. Any questions?
I would like to add that, again, as we've talked about a little bit over the past couple months, kudos to the board for recognizing the fact that we build up some of those cash balances to pay for projects like this. So this is being paid for out of all cash that the district has saved over the years for these type of projects. So good job in recognizing that when these $16 million projects come along, not every district can pay for that with cash. And so we've done that over the years. So when you see our cash balances like Jeff displayed earlier, this is why we do that, to hit these big projects.
Great, thank you. And for the board members who are newer, who may not have had the opportunity last year to tour the building, to see what is happening there, I think it's going to make a real improvement to the environment of that building and provide much needed space. So it'll be exciting for you to see it once it's done. Yep.
So I'd like to add to what Frank said, because oftentimes we get questions about the budgeting process and about that money that's there, to your point. And this is the perfect example, why it's needed and why some school districts, not all, can do what we're doing. We need to do this at Parkview. I think Parkview was my first school visit a few years back when I started. And I met with the superintendent afterwards and said, we got to make some changes here. And, we have, but they've been small. And now we're at capacity or beyond. It needs to be closer to state of the art. And I think that's what we're planning to do. So kudos. I think the Parkview community will love it. Thank you. The question I have is, So you mentioned HVAC and a few things to the whole building. Will there be any impact on teaching and learning through this process? I know that we're going to have to barricade some things,
There-
but
Correct. There will be some as far as noise in the early going. Did you want to jump in on that? Oh, okay. You know, we will, the big part of that, of the construction for demo is taking out the asphalt in that courtyard area. And also the storm drains system that's in there. That is expected to happen between October and December to wrap up all the heavy equipment there before they put the actual structure up of the addition, so that all that heavy equipment get in there. We're also going to be utilizing dates like October 10th, October 13th, where there is no school, or I think there's an institute day in there as well. So we're going to work with our vendors, with our contractors, with LAMP, to make sure that we are the least disruptive to the educational process as we can be, for especially for the classrooms that are facing the courtyard.
okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Exciting.
Yeah, it is.
And I'd add to that, that I know Jorge will be meeting with staff to also have this conversation with them with the presentation, to let them know what's coming, so they're aware of the expectations during that time.
I was part of the visit that Christian was talking about, and just seeing how the school is right now, I'm kind of excited to see what's to come. And I'm really happy for the kids too, to see what's to come next year.
We're also going to have a new chiller there
I know,
too.
I can't wait.
So that's two under your watch.
You
So
got
that's-
it. That's the exciting part.
That's right, that
Yes.
is.
Anyone else? Okay, thank you very much. Item 4.6, salt and ice melter bid.
Speaking of the chill, we'll move right into that. I know you don't want to think about it right now, but in 2 months, when that snow is flying, exclusive of our contract with our service provider that does our parking lots and salting those, we also use salt bulk for our trucks, where we do our playgrounds, and then also, spot checking areas, and then also bag salt for our custodians and maintenance team that does the sidewalks around the building, making sure we maintain a safe environment for students and staff to enter. So this is a bid we do every year. This was put out on August 7th. 15 suppliers downloaded the bid nets to bid for it. 5 bids were received. This is for a contract term of October 1st, 25 through April 30th, 26. For the bulk salt, we are looking at recommending Conserve FS out of Wakanda for a grand total of $55,750. That is off of our recent use of 550 tons of bulk salt. And then approving also Martinson's Turf Products Incorporated out of Waterman for a total of $11,000. That is for our history of using about 2,000 bags of 50-pound salt every year. The total estimate award amount is $66,750 between the bulk and the ice melter, and that'll all be funded out of 20.
Great. Any questions or comments on that? Sounds, okay, hearing none, we can move on to item 4.7, technology services contract renewal.
All right, so this month I just have one for you. Our KnowBe4 platform. In the kind of environment that we live today, cybersecurity is vastly important, and KnowBe4 helps us on to maintain the level of security that we have in the districts. KnowBe4, it offers up training and insight into cybersecurity awareness. Also, it offers up a platform for our phishing campaign process. So we have a constant process running where we make sure people understand and are aware of real phishing things that come out there. So we try to give them simulated emails. So you might think that, hey, there's a gift card for me, and it's not. Don't click on the link. You click on the link, you got some new training coming your way. But it helps them understand that this is the kind of stuff that everybody is doing. We receive real ones, and because of this training, people are more vigilant. So we receive the, hey, John, I think you might be trying to fool me. And I'm like, that's not us, but they let us know, and so we can stop those before they become a real problem. So KnowBe4 helps us with all of this process. And so we are asking for another renewal on that process for $40,618.89 that will be coming out of the technology budget.
Any questions on that item?
No question, but I've told John this before. We get a lot of training at home because my husband's in IT too, so I don't click on anything, even if I know what it is half the time, I don't click on it, so.
Great, thank you for that.
Thank you.
Item 4.8, construction update.
Yeah, this is wrapping up last summer's construction work. We have a couple areas that were, not 100% complete, like at CMS's auditorium. We have a curtain that when they put it up, they realized it was too short. So that's coming in shortly. And then also some training for the staff there to make sure they're, familiar and comfortable with the new lighting and sound. Also, the DMS in our geothermal system, we've had just some ongoing, not really ongoing, but more just some final balance and testing in the gyms, as big as a room they are, making sure that the pressure's right. We're not putting too much air in there, not enough. And then I think the only other one was at Hampshire High School. We are still waiting 3 speakers that are back ordered. They're not, it's not impeding anything in the performances, but we're just waiting for them to come in. They're just some extra speakers that are on the system. But other than that, we're really excited on how that summer went, and we're looking forward to the next one. Actually, we're looking forward to next month to start. So Parkview.
Right, it's busy. Any questions or comments on that? Yeah, and the projects that I have seen look really great, so I can't wait to see more of them as the year goes on. Item 4.9, large boundary and capacity committee update.
All right. Well, good evening, everybody. And tonight, John and I will go through the large boundary and capacity committee updates. It's important to make sure that we have this particular committee because it allows us diverse perspectives and expertise is shared in shaping thoughtful, community-centered solutions. Collaborating as one group ensures decisions are informed and balanced and aligned with best interests. So as we progress through the presentation, we'll keep in mind some of the strategic plan and guiding principles that we have.
Would you remind us who's on the committee?
Certainly.
We have a team of admin, Mr. Bombalis, and 2 board members are a part of the team. And so we problem solve with that team, and then we prepare the best options to bring forward to all of you.
So as we go through tonight, we want to make sure that we're focusing on the strategic plan, which the board set, and that's our guiding principles as we move through, whether it's the funding part of schools, or in this case, it's the boundary part. The enrollment trends you see here across the state, we know enrollment is decreasing. This could be attributed to current interest rate environment, perhaps even low birth rates. But according to the Illinois Policy Organization, Illinois has lost over 127,000 students since the pandemic. And D300, like other districts, was impacted. However, unlike other districts, we have started to see an increase in student enrollment. Viewing this chart, you can make the assumption that if we continue to grow and the other districts continue to lose students, D300 could move from the 6th largest in the state to potentially top 4. With that, I'm going to hand it over to John to talk about our current enrollment.
Yeah, so this is our current enrollment as of the 3rd. I had been updating this every day, but now when we come to this presentation, we have it from the 3rd, but I did it today as well, and we are now at 20,021 students. So every time I have to update this, we are still seeing an increase in our student population. So this is why we're coming to this committee, why we're bringing this to the board now, is that we do not see this stopping. We only see our population growing. So if you look at this map right now, this is all of the known and projected housing developments for our district. There are, I think, around 28 different housing developments scheduled for our entire district. So we are seeing a lot of new housing coming up, and a lot of them on the west side of our district. When we receive these reports from our demographers, they give us kind of an estimates, and so based on all of those housing developments over the next 10 years, we can anticipate roughly 4,100 new students coming to our district as a result.
As John mentioned, we are seeing a lot of growth in the district, and particularly a growth west of Randall. So here, it's kind of hard to see, but if you look, okay, thank you, perfect laser pointer. Yeah, right there. That's Randall. So you can see that to the west of that is where the majority of our growth is occurring. Not to say that we're not having any to the east. So we have Dundee Crown High School, and those communities are still seeing some growth there. We're still making sure that Dundee Crown still has the capacity for the number of students, but the majority of our growth over the next 10 years we foresee happening to the west of Randall. Here again, based on the numbers that John had given us, you can see our projected at the end of 2033, 2034 is roughly around 24,000 students, which could potentially put us in the top 4. Currently, we're 6th. That could potentially put us in the top 4 as we gain about 4,000 students over the next 10 years.
And so knowing all of this is why we're coming to you with 2 different proposals for boundary shifts. Our first one is dealing with our high school boundary. So our proposal right now, if you look at the map behind me or in front of you, the purple is the existing Hampshire High School boundary. The kind of brown is our Jacobs boundary, and then the blue is our Dundee Crown boundary. So we are looking to take a section of the Hampshire boundary that we did make a section change last year. You can see there's like a little block. If I point at it right there, we made that change last year to accommodate the new housing development that's next to DMS. But with the enrollment projections and the housing projections, we've received new housing stuff that we weren't aware of last year, that this is becoming more of a need for us. So we would be moving all of our current 8th through 11th graders from Hampshire High School to Jacobs High School. We would also have options for students to remain at their existing school, and this would be effective for the next school year. This is kind of the reason why. If you look at our projections over the next 6 years, Hampshire High School is going to run out of space at their school, whereas Jacobs High School has the space to accommodate those students moving from that section and to accommodate the new housing developments. There's not as many housing developments coming into the Jacobs zone as there are in the Hampshire High School zone. Again, this is that west side of the district. Most of those housing developments are on the west side that would affect Hampshire High School. And as you can see, they are large. These are large housing developments.
All of them, not most of them, all of them.
Well, yes, all of these are large, yes.
All of them feed Hampshire High School.
In this picture, all of them.
Yes.
I was saying in general, out of the first map,
On this
one,
map, all
on
of
this
them.
map, all of these feed Hampshire High School. And even just one of them was 1,200 homes are estimated for one of those developments. That's just one of the red areas. So as we see tonight, we are presenting to the board. We will present this full presentation to the board meeting at the next board meeting. After that, we will discuss with affected families. And then if approved in October, we would host community nights to let the community know what's going on here. Current 11th graders, we would allow them to finish their senior year at Hampshire High School, and then current 8th graders would be attending Jacobs High School next year.
Can you just show the map again on which areas you're talking about here? That's going to be going to Jacobs?
So the blue outlined, that's the areas that's going to go to Jacobs. So this area right here, this is all that would be going over to Jacobs now. It is currently all Hampshire High School. And so there's a large housing development right here and then another one down here. These would be the families that would be affected and going to
So if I-
Jacobs High School.
Top right is Algonquin or Huntley Road. So that's
Yeah.
like the Menard.
This is Randall Road right here.
Okay, so if I say behind Woodman's, would I be correct then?
Yes.
Okay. I'm just trying to visualize it.
Yep,
Sorry.
exactly.
Same questions I asked. I need a landmark sometimes.
Yes, that is, Woodman's would be a very good
Got it.
landmark there.
Okay.
Okay. Our next one is the Eastview and Algonquin Lakes. Okay, so if we look at this map right here, the purple is our current Eastview boundary, and then the orange is our current Algonquin Lakes boundary. That red block there is a housing development that is coming into that area. So if we look at this, these are our current capacity concerns for Eastview. Eastview is going to run out of space within the next 6 years as a result of that new housing development. Algonquin Lakes is not. So we have a new housing development that will be north of Highland, So if we want landmarks, the old Piggly Wiggly, you're looking behind there. I think it's Butera now or something, but yes, that is what we're looking at for the housing development there. And then there's a Sandbloom housing development over by the Jewel. Okay. So this is the kind of boundary shift that we are looking at. It is going to be from Algonquin Road to the river. So all of the stuff east of the river and north of Algonquin Road that is part of Eastview, right here. All of that is currently part of Eastview, and that would move to Algonquin Lake School District, or Algonquin Lake's boundary school. And then on the bottom here, we'd have a section that is currently Algonquin Lakes, and we would move that over to Eastview to create this kind of natural boundary down Sandbloom. The reason being is that what this allows for right now is it allows for space at Eastview. It's going to be a minimal change because of the two boundary shifts. It'll be a less of a change for both schools, but it allows for that new housing development to come in, and roughly 100 new students can come in and go to Algonquin Lakes, which has the space. Whereas if we just left it as it is, there would be roughly 60 potential new students coming into the boundary of Eastview that it does not have the capacity to hold.
So there will be no effect on the high school because it's the same high school, right? Correct.
Correct. No effect on the high school or the middle school, just the elementary boundaries.
I think another important note here is that the red box, the top red box, has yet to break ground. So if we can get the messaging out now that this will be your elementary as opposed to further, I think this is a good time to take action on that.
So again, same concept we're going to present to the board. After the presentation, we would address the affected families. Current fourth grade students would be allowed to finish up their fifth grade year at their elementary school. And then we would work with individual families. For both schools, for both boundary shifts, the intra-district transfer process would come into play, and families would have the option to utilize that process with their own transportation. All right, future concerns here. We've got Hampshire Elementary and Hampshire Middle School. Reason being is we have these two new housing developments. These two housing developments were not on the map last year. We only found out about them recently. And so this is now why this is becoming an issue to us. These two new housing developments are going to put a lot of pressure on Hampshire Elementary School. If you go to the next one here. The first three lines on this is what we were anticipating for capacity for Hampshire Elementary prior to understanding that these new housing developments came in. So the bottom part is now the effect of those housing developments. As you can see, we are now running out of space at Hampshire Elementary, which we did not have that understanding last year prior to these new housing developments coming in.
To be clear, that's because it was not moving forward. It has since moved forward. So we've been in communication with our community partners
Yes.
as they let us know as soon as they knew.
Correct. We knew right when they knew, but again, we didn't have this last year. The two schools that are in that area, Big Timber and Wright, you can see over the next 6 years, are filling up. They do not have the capacity to take on Hampshire Elementary School at this time. Again, this is the concern. The west side of our district, all of these housing developments will be affecting the west side of the district and will be affecting Hampshire Middle School. So those two new ones, they're going to affect Hampshire Middle School. All of these are going to affect Hampshire Middle School. Go to the next one here. Here is our capacity concerns for Hampshire Middle School. And again, these numbers were actually prior to those two new housing developments too. So we're at a point where we need to be making some adjustments to Hampshire Middle School in order to meet the needs of all of these new students coming into our district. So our timeline is we had our boundary committee meeting. We are presenting to the board this month. We will come back for a vote in October. And again, those boundary changes would be for the next school year. But the effect on Hampshire Elementary and the effect on Hampshire Middle School really needs to be taken into consideration. Any questions?
So when you say consideration, or you're not going to bring that as part of the vote?
So
Your concern, the last couple slides on concerns?
there's nothing that boundary shifts can really do to help with those two, because it's all of Hampshire. What we can do with those is with our master facilities plan. So that's really where those
So either
conversations will come
additions
in.
or possibly a new school.
Correct.
So we'd be looking at, sorry, as John showed on Big Timber and Gary D. Wright, those are very short-term fixes if we needed space for students in a year. But in 3 years, 4 years, Gary D. Wright and Big Timber will also be taking on the students of the other housing that we were aware of, Oakstead and those other things you saw on the map. So as capacity and enrollment is our second priority of the master facility plan after safety and security, we would be then looking at reordering of projects and things like that based on now we need to move up what maybe we were thinking was 5 or 6 years out, that might need to be 2 to 4 years out.
Because those housing developments by Hampshire Elementary are 3 to 4 years out instead of 10 years out.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Thank you. Okay, item 4.10, CFO update.
Okay.
Oh, I had one more thing. No effect to programming at Algonquin Lakes or Eastview with the proposals that we just brought forward. I think I'm losing my voice.
All right, for the update perspective, master facility plan, we did visit Dundee Crown High School. It was a great visit. It was on the late start morning. It was our chance to get guidance from the staff there. Worked with our partners. It was a really cool exercise. We put up some pictures and staff got to put happy faces and smiley faces on some of the pictures to help provide us some guidance as we kind of fine tune that effort to figure out what the final look and feel of Dundee Crown High School is going to be. But from the conversations we had there, the excitement is building, but the communication won't stop. We'll make sure that we're constantly in communication with the staff at Dundee Crown as we progress through that work.
And just as we know, the reminder of Dundee Crown has had enrollment and capacity demands for many years. And so it's super exciting to be at this part of the work.
And then what else? The other part that you have here is the Village of Carpentersville. They are asking for us at the next board meeting, we'll take a vote. But what you see here is an updated intergovernmental agreement. In 2021, we had signed an intergovernmental agreement simply naming the developer of the Iron Flats, which would be in the TIF, one of the TIFs over in Carpentersville. That developer is no longer the developer, and now they have a new developer. And so they're asking us if we would simply approve an update to our intergovernmental agreement, changing the name of the developer. That's the only change. I did have a conversation with Scott, our attorney, who manages TIFs or handles TIFs with us, and he was fine with this particular intergovernmental agreement change. He said there was really nothing to change except for just the name. So that'll be the ask at the next board meeting. The other piece there is that the Village of Carpentersville is working on TIF number 7, and that's going to be at Huntley and Randall as well. They had presented that to their board, I believe last week it was, and I believe they're going to be proceeding moving forward with approving that particular TIF. There'll be some condominiums within there, and maybe some additional housing, but they can't confirm anything else besides the condominiums at this point.
Those of you who have been around a while know that I just love TIFs. It's my favorite thing in the world. One question I have, Mr. Williams, is did they say why they need us to approve the developer involved in the Flat Rock or Iron?
They
Iron.
they had reached out more as a courtesy as they didn't need any other formal agreement other than just a courtesy to reach out and say, hey, this is changing. We had an agreement. We think this would be the right thing to do.
Okay. Just to re-inform people who may not have heard this before, we don't have the ability to turn down a project that is going to be paid for by a tax increment financing. Tax increment financing means they're going to freeze the value of the property, probably as of now, or I think with the other project, it was from before, 2
Correct.
years ago. And we get that, the taxes we would get on that amount of property for the next 23 years, even though the value of the property is going to go up over the next 23 years. They're going to take that money, which is our property tax dollars, and they're going to give it to the developer. Because why? 90% of the time because they want it, not because they need it. Because if you're a developer and you can't afford to do a project without the help of tax dollars, then you have no business being a developer. And if you can afford it, you're just being greedy. That's my personal opinion. Villages are in a weird position because a lot of times they need these developments to help their villages financially. In a case like this, where these two developments are to add housing, I don't think it really benefits them at all, but it does hurt the rest of us because we're going to be paying to educate the kids that are going to come out of these developments for the next 23 years. That means at least 2 generations of kids that are coming in if they come in from those developments. And as you know, we've seen tonight already, we're already struggling with where we're going to place these kids. And if you've been in this district for as long as I have, you remember the days of trailers and closets holding classrooms and things like that that were directly related to the growth that was going on back then. And it looks like we're starting to build up growth again. So because we really legally have no say, we can't say, no, you can't do this. I'm literally venting, but I'm also trying to make sure that people understand that this affects our tax dollars. They're literally taking our taxes. We've all paid our tax dollars for this year. My husband and I paid about $11,000 on our house, and the vast majority of that money will now, the parts to, like for the school district and our fire departments, because we share those with Carpentersville and things like that in Carpentersville, all that money, the majority of that money is going to go to the developer for the next 23 years. So just so you know. Thank you.
Just to add to the whole TIF conversation, many times when TIFs start, they start because they claim it to be a blighted area, right? Those of us that know that area don't really see that. Have they claimed that as part of what they've done so far?
As in regards to the IGA or in regards to TIF number 7?
TIF number 7.
Yeah, so they have claimed to be blighted. It is claimed to be blighted. So they do have some swamp area there that they know will not be developed at all. But as they put the documents together, as you had mentioned, if they claim it to be blighted and it approves that way, then that's the way it moves forward.
Okay.
Yeah, anyone else have any comments on that?
Are we having legal team kind of review the document to make sure that it's just the name and nothing else is being
Yeah.
thrown in there?
So Scott, our attorney who does deal with TIFs, he's reviewed it already and was comfortable with us moving forward with it.
There's copies of both that are in the board book also.
And I will add one thing on TIFs, in that within a TIF, though, we still do collect our full bonded interest. Like that still does come back to us within a TIF. What's that?
The fees, the impact fees?
No, the bonded interest payment that we still need to collect. So
Okay.
pay our bonded interest, that still comes back to the district. But the operations part, to Ms. Etler's point, the operations part is the part that we don't collect.
How significant is the bond fees that you're talking about?
Our,
Is it like about the same as the?
our bonded interest is spread out amongst all of our communities. It's a $25 million payment annually that we have to make.
Anything else on the CFO update? All right, Mr. Tennis, we were able to check, and we can allow you to do your public participation if you'd like to now.
I appreciate it because I was going to show up at 6:30.
Had to check and make sure that that would be okay procedurally.
My name is Mike Tennis from Sleepy Hollow. The Parkview Edition bid of $16 million started as a project last October to add 6 to 8 classrooms. Enrollment jumped 149 students to 542 in 2024, with capacity at 650. Even with building utilization at 83%, the school was crowded and enrollment was projected to grow to 683 by 2033. Perry, along with Gulfview and Meadowdale, are 2.5 to 3.5 miles from Parkview. Utilization at those schools was 25%, 49%, and 69% respectively. However, the decision was made to add classrooms to Parkview. By April, the Parkview project grew to include music, media, and administration rooms in addition to classrooms. Plans also developed for a major renovation on the existing 64-year-old building at an added cost of $9 million. However, those renovation costs do not include any plans to do an environmental study of a building built around 1961. Schools built in the early 60s often used asbestos-containing materials extensively. Among the questions that this committee needs to ask, should an environmental study be done to determine what asbestos-containing materials are in the building? For example, flooring, ceiling tile, boiler and duct insulation, as well as roofing and flashing materials may contain asbestos. Abatement could add $250,000 to $1 million to the renovation project. Can abatement take 8 weeks or 16 weeks, conflicting with the start of school? Will there be enough time to perform active abatement and clearance testing for reoccupancy and renovating the existing structure next summer, or is there a risk renovation will be delayed by a construction season? Other questions the board may wish to ask. Why is commercial mechanical proposing 3 alternatives, adding over $460,000 for HVAC temporary controls? What temperature controls are in the base bid of $4.3 million? Why are more expensive alternatives presented, and how and when will the board address that decision? With a preliminary budget of $24.25 million for an old building, how are the architectural costs and bid costs totaling $17.6 million to be reconciled? What is the $6.6 million difference? How much is asphalt paving, furnishing, lamp construction services, and other significant costs? Thank you.
Thank you. All right, that brings us to announcements, which is the next Board Operations Committee meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, October 14th at 4:30. And with that, we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Wipe me.